Hello again, everybody. We are still working on our section 4.5 notes. And so we've talked about solving polynomials when they're factorable. We've talked about solving polynomials when we've been given a 0. So now, what if they don't give us a 0 and our polynomial is not factorable? One way is to try to use our graphing calculator to at least get us started. So we look at 3x cubed plus x squared minus 38x plus 24 is equal to 0. So our polynomial is equal to 0. We've already checked it that it's not factorable, and they obviously didn't give us anything. So we're going to plug this into the y equals in our calculator. After we do that and check the table of the graph for the x-intercepts, remember on our table, x, y, it would have to have a 0 over here in the y column, and whatever this value here is for x is then the x-intercept, the root, the 0, the solution. We're going to use what we find and then do what we were doing before, divide. Take that answer to our division problem and factor or find another means to solve. We can use the square roots or backwards order of operations, completing the square, or quadratic formula, and that'll give us the rest of our answers. So if I'm looking at the graph for this function right here, we can see that we have a 0 here, here, and here. -4, +3, and then we're not quite sure what exact value. Remember, we're looking for exact values, and it's somewhere in between +1 and 0, but we're not exactly sure. So we know 2 of our answers, and remember we have to have 3 because it's x to the third, are -4 and +3. So we're going to pick, if I can get this to work here, doesn't want to write, pick one of those two answers, -4 or +3, it doesn't matter, and use our division. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use that +3, and I'm going to put it into our synthetic or shortcut division, and we're using 3 1, -38, and +24. All right, so bringing down that 3 times 3 is 9. 1 plus 9 is 10. 3 times 10 is 30. -38 plus 30 is -8. 3 times -8 is -24. And 24 and -24 is 0. Now we knew we had to get a 0 here for our remainder because we've already found it as one of our answers from our calculator. So we're going to fill in our variables, x to the 0, x to the first, x squared, and our resulting quadratic is 3x squared plus 10x minus 8 is equal to 0. 3 times -8 is -24. The factors of -24 that add to +10 are 12 and -2. So 3x squared plus 12x minus 2x minus 8. I'm going to rewrite that over here so I've got some space. Plus 12x minus 2x minus 8. Split it in half. Our common factor on the left is 3x. That leaves us with x plus 4. Next part starts with subtraction. Common factor with negative 2x and 8 is 2. Now remember, we're dividing by negative 2, so that leaves us with a positive x and a positive 4. There's my matching parentheses. So x plus 4 is one of our answers. And then the 3x minus 2 is our other answer. So we take the x plus 4, write it over here on the left. X plus 4 is equal to 0. Subtract 4, and x equals negative 4, which is the second one that we didn't pick. And then 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. I'm going to add the 2. 3x is equal to 2. And then divide by 3, and we get x is 2/3. Now remember, 2/3 is a more exact answer. Let's see if it'll write here for me. 2/3 is a more exact answer than trying to estimate the decimal from the graph. So we want to make sure we use as exact of an answer as possible. So negative 4, 3, and then positive 2/3 are our solutions. All right, our next example, we have x cubed plus x squared minus 10x plus 8. So I've already checked that it's not factorable, and they didn't give us any zeros. So let's take a look at our graph. And the graph for the example A there is right here on the left. And you can see on the graph that we have negative 4, positive 1, and positive 2. Now we would go ahead and verify on our table to make sure that on our table, our XY table, that negative 4 had a 0 next to it, 1, 0, and 2, 0. And we verify that. So our solutions are 1, 2, and negative 4. We needed 3 answers because of the third degree, and we got our 3 answers here, 1, 2, and negative 4. And we can get all of them from the calculator. Our next example here, example B, again, it's not factorable. It is set equal to 0. I could take out a common factor, but that's really not going to help me any. So I went ahead and typed this one into the calculator as well. And that's this one over here on the right. And I can see an intercept here, here, and here. Now, this intercept is in between negative 2 and negative 3. So I'm not going to get an exact answer from that. This one over here on the far right is in between 0 and 1. Not going to get an exact answer on that. But this one right here in the middle looks to be 0. And so I go to the table on my graphing calculator, and I indeed see that 0, 0 is one of the values, the ordered pairs on my graph. So I'm going to go ahead and use x equals 0 to help me get going. It is a root or a 0 solution, so I can use that 0 for starting my division. Now I check this to see, am I missing anything? It is in standard form, but I am missing that value at the end. So 15x cubed plus 31x squared minus 4x. I do have to have that value that doesn't have a variable with it. So 0 is going to go in the box. I've got 15, 31, negative 4, and 0. drop down that 15. 0 times 15 is 0. 31 plus 0 is 31. 0 times 31 is 31. Negative 4 plus 31. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back. 0 times 31 is 0. Negative 4 plus 0 is negative 4. 0 times negative 4 is 0. And 0 plus 0 is 0. So there's my remainder that we know has to happen. Add my x values back in, and we have 15x squared plus 31x minus 4. Well, this is not factorable. 15 times negative 4 is negative 60. And I'm not able to find any factors of negative 60 that are going to add to positive 31. So since it's not factorable, remember, it is still solvable. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and go back to my trusty old quadratic formula. So x equals negative 31 plus or minus the square root of 31 squared. Let me write it over on this side then. So x equals negative 31 plus or minus the square root of 31 squared minus 4 times 15 times negative 4 all over 2 times 15. If I do the math inside the radical, 31 squared minus 4 times 15 times negative 4, I get 1,201. 1,201 is not a perfect square, so I'm going to go ahead and do negative 31 plus the square root of 1201 divided by 30, and that gives me positive 0.12 when I round it. And then negative 31 minus the square root of 1201 divided by 30 is negative 2.19. And so 0, 0.12, and negative 2.19 are roughly about where my x-intercepts are going to be. Now remember, if it asks for an exact answer, then you would write this down right here. If it asks for an estimate, then write down the decimal points. All right, tomorrow we will answer the question, what if I do not have a graphing calculator? How do I work these problems? That tomorrow during class. Have a good one, everybody.